Have you ever noticed how a summer afternoon can suddenly steal your strength? You aren't necessarily sick, but there is a quiet, heavy fatigue that settles into your bones. Your mind feels a bit foggy, and perhaps your muscles feel tight or prone to cramping. In our modern world, we often reach for a neon-colored sports drink filled with artificial dyes and processed sugars to fix this. We think of hydration as a modern science, yet we are often more depleted than ever. There is a hidden ailment in our culture where we are overfed but undermineralized. The ancient world did not have plastic bottles, but they had something far better. They had God-given solutions that worked with the body's design rather than against it. These ancient people traveled through scorching deserts and worked under a relentless sun, yet they knew exactly which fruits and herbs would restore their vitality. Today, we are going back to those roots to find true restoration. Hello there, I'm David. It is a blessing to spend this time with you today. As we move into the heat of the summer, I want to share something that has truly changed the way I look at my health in my later years. We're going to walk through 15 specific biblical electrolyte bombs. These are not just snacks. They are nutritional powerhouses that can restore your body almost instantly when the heat begins to take its toll. By the time we reach the end of our list, you will have a complete toolkit for staying vibrant, sharp, and physically resilient all season long. The benefits of these foods go far beyond simple thirst quenching. We are talking about supporting your heart rhythm, balancing your blood pressure, and ensuring your nervous system has the minerals it needs to fire correctly. God's provision is truly perfect when we know where to look. I want you to stay with me until the very end, because item number 15 is something you likely have in your garden right now, and it has a unique cooling property that most people completely overlook. It is a true hidden gem for summer survival. Now, before we dive into our countdown, I must offer a natural reminder. While I am passionate about the wisdom found in Scripture and nature, I am not a doctor. This content is for educational purposes and is not intended as professional medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare provider before making changes to your diet or health routine, especially if you are managing chronic conditions or taking medications. We want to be wise stewards of the bodies we've been given. Let's begin our journey back to the ancient paths of health, starting with a fruit that is as refreshing as a cool breeze. Number 1 is watermelon juice. If you had to design the perfect summer electrolyte drink from scratch, you would likely end up with something very close to what we find in the heart of a watermelon. This fruit is roughly 92% water, but it is far from being just a drink. It is a biological delivery system for the minerals your body loses fastest through sweat. In the biblical world, the Israelites specifically remembered the melons of Egypt during their journey through the wilderness. These were not just cravings for sweetness. They were the body's memory of a food that provided survival in the heat. A generous glass of watermelon juice delivers a significant amount of potassium, which is the primary electrolyte responsible for keeping your heart rhythm steady and preventing those painful nighttime leg cramps. It also contains magnesium, a mineral that supports over 300 chemical reactions in your body, including nerve function and muscle relaxation. I remember one particularly humid July when my own legs felt like lead, and a simple glass of fresh watermelon juice felt like it brought me back to life within minutes. One of the most active compounds here is lycopene. This is the pigment that makes the fruit red, and research published in the Journal of Agriculture and Food Chemistry suggests it has powerful anti-inflammatory effects that protect the cardiovascular system. For usage, simply blend the red flesh and drink it cold. If you have kidney disease, please be careful with the high potassium content and talk to your doctor first. For everyone else, adding a tiny pinch of sea salt makes it a complete electrolyte replacement. Number 2 is the pomegranate. This fruit is woven into the very fabric of Scripture, appearing on the robes of the high priest and decorating the pillars of Solomon's temple. It is one of the 7 species of the Promised Land, a symbol of abundance and life. But beneath that thick skin lies a treasure trove of potassium. In fact, a single pomegranate contains more potassium than a medium banana. This matters immensely because potassium helps offset the effects of sodium in the diet, which can help manage blood pressure during the stressful heat of summer. The star compounds in pomegranates are called punicalagins. These are unique antioxidants that are incredibly potent. A study in the journal Clinical Nutrition found that daily pomegranate juice consumption could help reduce oxidative stress and support the health of the lining of your blood vessels. This is like providing a protective shield for your heart. When you drink this juice, think of it as the ruby of the heart. To get the most benefit, you can tap the seeds out with a wooden spoon and eat them fresh or press them into a deep red juice. I often tell my friends that pomegranates are nature's way of showing us how much detail God puts into our nourishment. However, pomegranates can interact with certain blood pressure and cholesterol medications, so always check with your pharmacist if you are on those prescriptions. It is also high in natural sugar, so those with diabetes should watch their portion sizes. It is a drink of royalty that is available to all of us today, providing a deep, cellular restoration that plain water simply cannot match. Number 3 is a historical drink called Pascha. You might recognize this from the New Testament accounts of the crucifixion, where it is often translated as sour wine. While it sounds unpleasant to our modern ears, Pascha was actually the standard hydration drink for the Roman legions. It was a mixture of water, wine vinegar, and sometimes herbs or honey. It was the ancient version of a sports drink. The Israelites also used vinegar, as seen when Boaz invited Ruth to dip her bread in it at mealtime. The active compound here is acetic acid. This acid helps the body absorb minerals more effectively and has been shown in studies, such as those in the journal Diabetes Care, to help stabilize blood sugar levels after a meal. For a senior, keeping blood sugar steady is vital for maintaining energy levels throughout a hot day. The small amount of salt usually added to Pascha replaces the sodium lost in sweat, while the vinegar provides a sharp, refreshing quality that cuts through thirst better than anything else. To make your own version, mix 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar into a large glass of cold water. Add a teaspoon of honey and a tiny pinch of sea salt. It is surprisingly crisp and invigorating. My wife and I often drink this after we've been working in the garden, and the relief is almost instantaneous. Just a word of caution. Because vinegar is acidic, you should always dilute it well to protect your tooth enamel. And if you suffer from severe acid reflux, you may want to skip this one or use very small amounts. Number 4 is the honey melon, which includes varieties like cantaloupe and muskmelon. In Numbers chapter 11, the Israelites longed for the melons they had enjoyed in Egypt. In a parched land, a melon was a miracle of hydration. Cantaloupe is an exceptional source of potassium, but it also brings something else to the table: a massive dose of beta-carotene. Your body converts this into vitamin A, which is essential for eye health and skin repair. During the summer, when the sun is at its strongest, your skin and eyes are under constant stress from UV rays. Providing your body with the building blocks to repair that damage is a form of internal sun protection. 1 cup of cantaloupe provides over 100% of your daily vitamin A needs. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition highlighted how these carotenoids help protect the skin from oxidative damage. The analogy I like to use is that eating melon is like giving your cells a refreshing bath and a protective coat of armor at the same time. The high water content, combined with magnesium and potassium, makes it a gentle, effective way to rehydrate. I find that a chilled slice of cantaloupe in the mid-afternoon provides a steady lift in energy without the crash of a processed snack. However, melons do have a higher glycemic index, so if you are managing your blood sugar closely, enjoy them in moderation alongside some protein. Also, always wash the outside of the melon thoroughly before cutting it, as the rough skin can sometimes harbor bacteria. It is a sweet gift from the earth that keeps us cool. Number 5 brings us to grapes and their dried form, raisins. Grapes are perhaps the most frequently mentioned fruit in the Bible, symbolizing the vine of life and the joy of the harvest. When the spies returned from Canaan, they carried a cluster of grapes, so large it took 2 men to hold it. Grapes are about 80% water, making them a fantastic hydration snack. But their real power lies in a compound called resveratrol. This polyphenol, found mostly in the skins of red and purple grapes, has been studied extensively for its ability to support heart health and brain function. Research published in Nature Reviews Drug Discovery suggests that resveratrol may help activate certain pathways in the body that promote longevity and reduce inflammation. When you are out in the heat, your body naturally produces more inflammation as it tries to stay cool. Grapes provide the potassium needed for electrolyte balance and the antioxidants needed to keep that inflammation in check. I love to keep a bag of grapes in the freezer. They become like little healthy popsicles on a 100-degree day. Raisins are even more concentrated, providing a quick burst of energy and a significant hit of potassium. In the book of 1 Samuel, Abigail brought cakes of raisins to David's men to restore their strength. They knew then what we know now. These small fruits are packed with the fuel needed for recovery. Because grapes and raisins are high in natural sugars, those with diabetes should be mindful of their intake. Also, raisins are very calorie-dense, so a small handful is usually plenty to see the benefits. Number 6 is the humble cucumber. While we often think of it as a simple salad topping, the cucumber is a hydration heavyweight. The Israelites specifically missed cucumbers during their desert journey, and for good reason. A cucumber is 95% water, making it one of the most hydrating foods on the planet. But it isn't just empty water. Cucumbers contain silica, a trace mineral that is vital for the health of your connective tissues, including your skin, joints, and ligaments. As we age, keeping our joints hydrated and our skin resilient is a top priority. The cucumber also provides a modest amount of potassium and magnesium. A study in the journal Nutrients showed that the high water and mineral content of cucumbers makes them effective for maintaining fluid balance. I like to think of the cucumber as a cooling pillar of health. It's like an internal air conditioner. To use it as an electrolyte bomb, I recommend making cucumber-infused water. Simply slice a whole cucumber and let it sit in a pitcher of water in the fridge. The minerals and silica leach into the water, creating a drink that is much more hydrating than plain tap water. Add a few mint leaves for an extra cooling effect. One safety note: cucumbers are high in vitamin K, which helps with blood clotting. If you are on blood-thinning medication like warfarin, you should keep your cucumber intake consistent and talk to your doctor so it doesn't interfere with your medicine. It is a quiet, humble vegetable, but its ability to restore your fluid levels is truly remarkable and deeply rooted in ancient wisdom. Number 7 is the date. In the ancient world, the date palm was known as the tree of life. It provided shade, building materials, and a fruit that could sustain a person for days in the desert. Jericho was famously called the City of Palms. Dates are an incredible electrolyte bomb because they are one of the most concentrated sources of potassium and magnesium in the fruit kingdom. Just 2 or 3 dates can provide a significant portion of your daily requirement. This is why, in many cultures, dates are the first thing eaten to break a long fast. They restore blood sugar and minerals almost instantly. The primary mechanism here is the combination of natural glucose and fructose with high levels of magnesium. This magnesium helps relax the nervous system and supports heart health. A study in the Journal of Food Science noted that dates are rich in dietary fiber and antioxidants, which help the body process the natural sugars slowly. I often take a couple of dates with me when I go for my morning walk in the summer. They provide a sustained energy boost that keeps me from feeling drained by the humidity. They are like nature's energy gel. To use them, you can eat them plain or blend them into a smoothie as a natural sweetener. Because they are very high in sugar and potassium, people with diabetes or kidney disease should be very careful with their portions. For most of us, though, 2 dates a day can be a powerful way to keep our mineral levels topped off. It is a taste of the desert that brings life to the body. Number 8 is barley water. Barley is one of the most ancient grains, mentioned throughout the Bible as the food of the common people. It was the grain used in the 5 loaves that Jesus multiplied to feed the 5,000. While we usually think of barley as a grain for soup, the water it is cooked in is a legendary tonic. Barley water is rich in a specific type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan. This fiber is well known for its heart health benefits. A study in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that beta-glucan can help lower LDL cholesterol and improve blood sugar response. When you simmer barley, The water becomes infused with magnesium, potassium, and these beneficial fibers. It creates a silky, soothing drink that is incredibly easy on the digestive system. In the ancient world, it was used to treat everything from heat exhaustion to digestive upset. I find it to be one of the most comforting drinks on a hot afternoon. It has a mild, nutty flavor that is very grounding. To make it, simply boil a half cup of pearl barley in 6 cups of water for about 20 minutes. Strain the liquid, add a squeeze of lemon and a touch of honey, and chill it. You can eat the cooked barley later in a salad. One very important caution: barley contains gluten. If you have celiac disease or a gluten sensitivity, you must avoid this one. But for those who can tolerate it, barley water is a time-tested way to nourish the body and keep the heart strong during the summer months. It is truly the poor man's tonic that provides rich rewards. Number 9 is figs. From the Garden of Eden to the parables of Jesus, the fig tree is a constant presence in the biblical narrative. When King Hezekiah was dying from a painful boil, the prophet Isaiah told him to apply a poultice of figs, and he was healed. This shows the ancient understanding of the fig's restorative power. Figs are unique among fruits because they are an excellent source of calcium, along with potassium and magnesium. For those of us over 55, maintaining bone density is crucial, and getting calcium from a plant-based source like figs is a wonderful supplement to our diet. The calcium in figs, combined with their high fiber content, makes them a powerhouse for both bone health and digestion. Research in the journal Food Chemistry has highlighted the high levels of polyphenol and flavonoids in figs, which provide strong antioxidant protection. I like to think of the fig as an ancient multimineral pill. They are dense, sweet, and deeply satisfying. You can enjoy them fresh when they are in season or dried throughout the rest of the year. Dried figs are actually more concentrated in minerals. I often keep a few in my pocket when I'm out for a long afternoon. However, figs are also a natural laxative due to their high fiber and a compound called phycin. If you eat too many at once, you might find yourself heading to the restroom more than planned. Also, they are high in vitamin K, so the same caution for blood thinners applies here. 1 or 2 figs a day is a perfect way to honor this biblical tradition and support your frame. Number 10 is coconut water. While the coconut palm isn't explicitly named in the Bible, it has been a staple of the coastal regions surrounding the biblical world for millennia. Coconut water is often called nature's fluid because its electrolyte profile is strikingly similar to human blood plasma. It is packed with potassium, but it also contains sodium, calcium, and magnesium in the perfect ratios for rapid rehydration. The active compounds here include cytokinins, which are plant hormones that have been studied for their anti-aging and antithrombotic effects. A study published in Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise found that coconut water was just as effective as a commercial sports drink for rehydration after exercise, but with far less stomach upset. It is a clean, pure way to get your minerals without any artificial junk. I often tell people that if you feel a heat headache coming on, a cold glass of coconut water is often the fastest way to find relief. It has a light, slightly sweet, and salty taste that feels very refreshing. When buying it, make sure you choose the unflavored and no sugar added versions. The only thing in the ingredient list should be coconut water. Because of its very high potassium content, it is another one that those with kidney issues must approach with caution. For the rest of us, it is a gift from the tropical shores that provides a nearly instant restoration of our internal balance. It is a beautiful example of how the earth provides exactly what we need to thrive in the heat. Number 11 is the olive. The olive tree is perhaps the most sacred plant in Scripture, representing peace, the Holy Spirit, and the very presence of God. While we often focus on the oil, the whole olive is a vital electrolyte bomb, specifically because it provides sodium. Now, we are often told to avoid salt, but when you are sweating in the summer heat, your body is losing sodium rapidly. Without enough sodium, your cells cannot hold onto the water you drink, leading to a condition where you are drinking but still thirsty. Olives provide that necessary sodium along with healthy monounsaturated fats, specifically oleic acid. A landmark study in the New England Journal of Medicine showed that a Mediterranean diet rich in olives and olive oil significantly reduce the risk of heart disease. The fat in the olives helps your body absorb the fat-soluble vitamins from other vegetables you might be eating. I like to think of the olive as the salt of the earth that keeps our fluid level stable. Eating 5 or 6 olives with your lunch can provide the perfect amount of sodium to keep you hydrated through the afternoon. My grandfather always had a bowl of olives on the table, and he lived a long, vibrant life. One caution is that olives are often packed in a very salty brine. If you have high blood pressure, you should rinse them under cold water to remove the excess surface salt and limit your intake to a few at a time. They are a small but mighty part of a biblical health routine. Number 12 is flax seeds. Flax is one of the oldest crops in the Bible, used to make the fine linen worn by priests and royalty. The seeds themselves were a staple of the ancient diet. Flax seeds are a powerhouse of magnesium and potassium, but their most famous component is alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA, which is a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. These healthy fats are essential for reducing inflammation throughout the body. When we are stressed by the heat, our joints and cardiovascular system can become inflamed. Flax seeds help to grease the wheels, so to speak, keeping everything moving smoothly. They also contain lignans, which have antioxidant properties. A study in the journal Hypertension found that daily flax seed consumption could lead to a significant reduction in blood pressure. I think of flax seeds as the quiet strength of the biblical diet. They don't have a loud flavor, but they do a lot of heavy lifting behind the scenes. To get the benefits, you must use ground flax seeds, as the whole seeds will just pass through you. I like to stir a tablespoon of ground flax into a glass of water with a little lemon. It creates a slightly thick, nourishing drink that keeps me full and hydrated. Just be aware that flax is very high in fiber, so start with a small amount to avoid any digestive discomfort. Also, because they can have a mild blood-thinning effect, check with your doctor if you are on medications for your blood. It is a simple, ancient seed that provides a foundation of health. Number 13 is goat's milk. In the Bible, when a land flowing with milk and honey is described, it is almost certainly referring to goat's milk. Goats were much more common than cows in the ancient Near East. Goat's milk is naturally higher in potassium, magnesium, and calcium than cow's milk. It also contains a different type of protein called A2 casein, which is much easier for many people to digest. As we get older, our ability to process dairy can sometimes decline, but many find that goat's milk doesn't cause the same bloating or discomfort. A study in the Journal of Dairy Science suggested that the minerals in goat's milk are more bioavailable, meaning your body can actually use them more effectively. I think of goat's milk as a complete electrolyte drink because it provides minerals, protein, and healthy fats all in one package. It's a very sustaining drink for a hot day when you might not feel like eating a heavy meal. I've found that a small glass of cold goat's milk in the evening helps me sleep better, likely due to the magnesium and calcium relaxing my muscles. If you've never tried it, the taste is a bit tangier than cow's milk, but very refreshing once you get used to it. You can also find goat's milk yogurt or kefir, which adds beneficial probiotics to the mix. Of course, if you have a true milk allergy, you should avoid this. For everyone else, it is a traditional, biblical way to keep your minerals high and your bones strong. It is the milk of the patriarchs, and it still serves us well today. Number 14 is the almond. The almond tree is the first to bloom in the spring in Israel, a symbol of watchfulness and new life. Aaron's rod famously blossomed with almond flowers and fruit. Almonds are a concentrated source of nearly every electrolyte: magnesium, potassium, and calcium. But they are also one of the best sources of vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that protects your cells from oxidative stress. When you are out in the summer sun, your body is under oxidative attack, and vitamin E acts like a shield. A study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that snacking on almonds can help reduce belly fat and improve cholesterol levels. I like to call almonds the flowering treasury because they are like a little vault of minerals. Just a small handful provides a massive boost to your magnesium levels, which can help prevent that mid-afternoon slump that often hits us in the summer. I always keep a small tin of raw almonds in my car. They don't melt in the heat, and they provide a quick, crunchy way to restore my energy. To use them as an electrolyte bomb, you can also soak them overnight and blend them with water to make fresh almond milk. This releases even more of the minerals. Just remember that almonds are calorie-dense, so a 1-ounce serving, about 23 nuts, is the perfect amount. And, naturally, if you have a nut allergy, please steer clear. For the rest of us, the almond is a beautiful reminder of God's watchfulness over our health, providing a portable, powerful source of restoration. Finally, number 15 is mint. Mint is mentioned in the Gospels as one of the herbs so valued that people would tithe it. While we often think of it as just a garnish, mint is a potent medicinal herb with a very specific summer benefit. It contains menthol, which actually triggers the cold-sensitive receptors in your skin and mouth. When you drink mint-infused water, you aren't just imagining that it feels colder. Your body is actually receiving a cool signal at the cellular level. This can help lower your perceived body temperature and make a hot day feel much more manageable. Mint also has a long history of aiding digestion. A study in alimentary pharmacology and therapeutics showed that peppermint oil is effective at relaxing the muscles of the digestive tract and reducing bloating. In the summer, when our digestion can sometimes be a bit sluggish due to the heat, mint is a godsend. I have a big patch of mint growing near my back porch, and the smell alone is enough to make me feel refreshed. To make a mint electrolyte bomb, bruise a handful of fresh leaves to release the oils and add them to a pitcher of water with a pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lime. It is the ultimate cooling drink. I've shared this with many neighbors over the years, and it's always a hit at summer gatherings. One caution: if you have severe acid reflux or a hiatal hernia, mint can sometimes relax the esophageal sphincter and make your symptoms worse. But for most, it is a crisp, clean way to stay cool and hydrated. It is the final piece of our ancient toolkit. Think of the journey we have just taken, from the hydrating red flesh of the watermelon to the heart-protecting pomegranate. We've seen the restorative power of Roman Posca and the sun-shielding beta-carotene in honey melons. We've looked at the life-giving vine of the grape and the cooling pillar of the cucumber. We've found energy in the desert's bread, the date, and heart health in the poor man's tonic, barley water. We've seen the bone-building strength of the fig and the rapid rehydration of coconut water. We've understood the importance of the salt of the earth olives and the anti-inflammatory power of flax seeds. We've looked at the gentle, mineral-rich goat's milk and the flowering treasury of the almond. And finally, we've found the internal breeze of mint. Each of these is a thread in a beautiful tapestry of health that God has woven for us. They are not complicated, they are not expensive, and they have stood the test of thousands of years. They are nature's way of saying that we are cared for, even in the heat of the desert. As we close our time together, I want to leave you with a thought. Healing and health are rarely about a single magic pill. They are about the slow, daily nourishment of the body with the things it was designed to recognize. In our fast-paced world, we've forgotten much of the ancient wisdom that kept our ancestors resilient. But that wisdom is still there, waiting for us to return to it. This summer, don't just survive the heat, thrive in it. Listen to your body's quiet signals. When you feel that fatigue or that foggy head, don't reach for a chemical fix. Reach for a melon, a handful of dates, or a glass of barley water. These are the foods that have sustained generations of faithful people before us. They are a reminder that the same God who provided for the Israelites in the wilderness is providing for you today, right in your own kitchen and garden. It is a beautiful thing to realize that our health can be an act of stewardship and a way to honor the Creator. I encourage you to pick just 1 or 2 of these items to start with this week. Maybe you'll make a pitcher of cucumber and mint water, or perhaps you'll try a glass of goat's milk for the first time. Whatever you choose, I'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment below and tell me which of these biblical foods is your favorite, or if there is one you are excited to try. And if this message has been a blessing to you, please share it with a friend who might need a little extra strength this summer. Don't forget to subscribe so we can continue this journey of faith and health together. I truly value this community we are building. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May He make His face to shine upon you and give you peace.